Is your life powered by love? Do you wake up each day feeling grateful, full of joy, loving yourself? Hi, I'm Suzie Cheel. I'm the Heart Whisperer. I'm also an intuitive businesswoman who colours the world with my art and my words. I love writing and inspiring others. And I'm here today to tell you my story about being lucky to be alive. This wasn't my first experience of hearing those words. You don't know how lucky you are to be alive. When I was 16, I was knocked over by a car. I was in a coma for a week. My heart stopped. My parents went through hell, but I survived. It was my last year at school, and I went on to finish school, win a scholarship, and become a preschool teacher. But that's another story. Back to my second near-death experience. It was Saturday, July the 16th, 2011, and I discovered I had a choice: life, death, or dialysis. I chose life in a heartbeat. I was lying in bed 4 of Med 1 at Tweed Heads Hospital, surrounded by doctors. Des was there, my husband, looking very worried. I was apparently one very sick girl. I was being told I had a 25% chance of living a normal life. The other chance was dialysis or death. I said in a heartbeat, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to use my law of attraction tools, and I'm going home. I think they thought I was crazy. So what had gone wrong? Out of the blue almost, my autoimmune system had gone rogue and my kidneys had stopped functioning. We'd actually been told after the event that I had zero, my kidneys had zero function. So I feel very blessed to be here today. And I do feel lucky to be alive. And the words lucky to be alive came from my mother back when I was 16. Because she used to always say to me, you don't know how lucky you are to be alive. Now I heard those words again from my beautiful doctor who said, you're such one lucky girl, so lucky to be alive. 5 years earlier, we'd be finding out what was actually wrong with you from an autopsy. At the time, they still didn't know what was wrong, so I was pumped full of prednisone. I had cytoblastin treatment, Bactrim, a whole battery of different drugs. They still didn't really know what was wrong until I had a biopsy. And I remember that. I remember Des saying to me, you've got to have dialysis first before they do the biopsy, because otherwise you could bleed to death. That was pretty horrendous. Absolutely terrifying for him. Must have been just so awful. I was at that point just so focused on healing myself. I was doing whatever I could. I learned to somehow cope with hospital food. I remember watching a MasterChef while I was in hospital, and the Dalai Lama people were asking about what he ate. He just said, well, I bless whatever I'm given. So I was able to do that and to stay positive. I remember a very old friend of mine sent me an email in that first week saying, if anybody can survive this, you can. You're the most positive person I know. And I did. I stayed positive through it. I journaled, I did my cards, and I meditated. On the Saturday, 1 week later, I was sitting in the dialysis chair in the renal unit at Tweed Hospital. And I asked my guides, yes, I believe in angels, I believe in guides. And I'm an angel intuitive, so I was using all these tools I had. But there was part of me probably still feeling, why me? So I asked while I was in meditation, what is this all about? And I heard the words, this is all about love, Suzie. This is all about heart-centered living, the law of empowerment. I journaled away. And then on the Monday, I was again in meditation and I heard these words. It's all about love, Suzie. You will be healed when you see and feel only love for you first. And then you will be all that you have to love and to give. When it is totally anchored in inner peace and that feeling of pure joy that allows the awakening that is already you to become empowered. That's the inspiration. That's the ripple effect. And this was the journal I used then. And it has most of my story and my self-love teachings to myself in it. So I set about focusing on totally loving myself. It was a bit of a shock to me. I bought Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life back when I was, early 30s, whenever it first came out. And I'd been working on myself and personal development for so many years. So it was a bit of a shock to hear that I had to still love myself first. And there's probably many of you here today who might have been told when you were younger, I remember, don't put yourself first. It's selfish. Look after others. But what I've learned is to love oneself first empowers us, and then we can create those ripples of change. So my healing journey continued, only I sort of sidestepped a little bit and went back to thinking, well, I can just do what I was doing before, which of course wasn't true. I was going to dialysis 3 times a week, having cytoblastin treatments weekly in the oncology unit at Tweed Hospital. It was sort of like my second home at that point in time. But I sort of kept going, and I was already eating a healthy life. And I do remember back in October having then my last cup of coffee, thinking I really need to give up coffee. But things went along. But then in November, I had a relapse. My kidneys again stopped functioning, and I was straight back in hospital. I really had to take stock of my life then. So when I came out a week later, I looked at all the drugs, the effects of the drugs, of what was happening, because I've had lots of side effects from that. But I totally changed my diet. I went alkaline. There was a positive side to that. I lost 10 kilos, and so did Des. So that was wonderful. And then I set about really looking at all the tools and techniques that I have been learnt over the years, the tools and techniques I'd been using with my clients, about really learning to love myself. And out of that was born what I call the Heart Whisper movement, and where I developed and am now the creator and founder of the Heart Whisper Daily Guidance Oracle cards that empower people daily to learn to love themselves more. So it's been a long journey of healing, and I have more to tell, which will eventually come out in my book, Lucky to Be Alive. Thank you for listening. This has been Suzie Cheel, the Heart Whisperer, from SuzieCheel.com. Namaste. Oh, and remember, open your heart to love so you can dare to dream again. Then you're on that path to freedom.